Hello, this is Encounters with Life. I'm Sean Abigail, your host. Today I have an episode which is a little more personal, and it's something that I know is controversial, and I have a strong opinion about it. But before I get into that personal stuff, can I ask you to like and subscribe? Like this video, subscribe to this channel. It's still a channel that's just getting started. Every subscription means the world to me. So if you could, that would be great. Also, leave a comment, because I read all your comments and I enjoy them. And sometimes people agree with me, and that's nice. It's encouragement. Sometimes they disagree with me. And you know what? When people disagree with me, it helps me sharpen my thinking. And so I appreciate even the ones that disagree with me. Okay, let's get into the little bit more personal stuff. A couple weeks ago, I took a trip up to the emergency room. And I was having some chest pains, and it was hurting when I was breathing. And I said to my wife, okay, take me up to the emergency room. And it was about 9:30 at night. The experience was pretty rough. So within about half an hour, 45 minutes, I got an ECG. And I'm going to say a little bit more about that because it was a good experience there. And then they took some blood, and then I waited and waited and waited. And after about 3 more hours of waiting, I said to myself, if I was having a heart attack, they would have brought me right in. They would have looked at the blood results. So basically, I'm just waiting right now for a doctor to come and officially say, okay, it's not a heart attack. So what I did was I went to the nurse at the front desk, and I said, just out of curiosity, can you tell me where I am in the queue? And she said, well, you're going to be here for another 7 hours. And so it's going to take another 7 hours for a doctor to officially tell me that I hadn't had a heart attack. And so I said, okay, I think I'm just going to leave. And then something else happened, which was really quite good, I thought. That is, the nurse looked at the record and said, sir, your record is, your blood work is unremarkable. Woohoo! Unremarkable! I'm so happy to be unremarkable. And so I was able to just leave without ever having seen the doctor. The other good thing that happened, by the way, talking about the ECG, the nurse was able to put the leads on and did the ECG, and she looked at it and said, yeah, no problem with the ECG. And there was a time when you'd have to have a doctor look at this long strip of paper, and he's looking very serious, and now I guess the computer does it, because you don't need those long pieces of paper anymore. The computer can recognize different aortic rhythms, I think is the expression. And so that was a good experience. So I had a good experience with the nurse at the front desk, who was kind enough and wise enough to say, okay, it looks unremarkable. And I had a good experience with the nurse who looked at the ECG and said, okay, it's fine. So a couple of good experiences, but the wait was a long time, and it would have been even longer. And I was talking to a friend of mine today. I had coffee with him. He is from Turkey. And he said that he cannot believe the medical system that we have here in Canada. In Turkey, they have a public and private medical care system. He said even in the public care system, if you go in to the hospital with chest pains or something like that, like 15 minutes, the doctor is seeing you. And he cannot believe what we put up with here in Canada. He said he has kept his private healthcare insurance in Turkey if he should get sick, so he can fly home to Turkey and get treatment. And you know what? I say to myself, something's got to change. And you may say that I'm just not Canadian. You may say I have committed the unpardonable sin of Canadianism, but I really think that Canada needs to consider a mixture of public and private healthcare. I should be able to purchase insurance if I wish, and to go see an emergency room that isn't overflowing and everybody waits for 10 hours if I want to pay extra. And you know what that does? It takes extra money out of my pocket and out of the private insurance system, and it allows more resources to be put into the public system, because there's less people showing up in the public care system. And so it's a benefit. Now, I understand the argument. Oh, then governments won't want to properly fund public health care. Not sure I buy that. Because, quite frankly, something's got to change. You can't have people waiting for 10 hours to see a doctor. I'm sorry, it's just not acceptable. And if we were to have the system that they have in Turkey, you would see a doctor very quickly. One lady was saying that she saw a doctor. The worst that she ever had to wait in the public care system was an hour and a half, and that was in the middle of COVID. So I think something needs to change in the Canadian healthcare system. And, you tell me, am I crazy? Am I crazy for wanting such a thing? But I have to tell you, I don't want to pay 10% or 20% or 30% more on my taxes to get a 1 or 2 or 3% improvement in the healthcare system. And there's lots of people who will say there's nothing wrong with the Canadian healthcare system except that it just needs more money. I'm sorry, but the bank is dry. The well is dry. We just don't have that kind of money to put into it. We have to think out of the box. And that's why I think we seriously, in Canada, need to consider a combination of public and private healthcare. Okay, that's what I think. But what do you think? I'd love to hear your comments. And I know it's a really, really controversial issue, but something's got to change. And what's going to change? You tell me. Sean Abigail, that's Encounters with Life.